So I just wanted to check in with you guys real quick. Again, so today I don't have a lot of time. I won't be on here too long, but I really wanted to come on here to see if there was anything you guys wanted to talk about. I've, been busy getting things set up in the garden. Haven't been doing as much planting as I need to be doing, but this is one of the projects that I actually completed today. I actually put a YouTube short video, and this is a pretty much a garden workbench. And you guys know how much lumber is, right? Lumber is steady going up. Everything is going up. So I wanted to get an opportunity where I can really work at a station outdoors. It's good to do it in the greenhouse. Yes, I can open up the patio doors or whatever, let some fresh air in, but it's nothing like gardening outdoors. And so I wanted to bring, you know, a space in our yard, which is this is the side of our yard here, and this side is usually pretty peaceful, and so I wanted to add to that. Now, one of the reasons why I'm going live today is because I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't have any questions. I know I didn't go live over the last couple of days. We've been having some pretty busy weekends, and then, as you guys know, I got a family of six, so there's always something going on. But again, if you haven't checked out that short video, I showed you how I made it, and it didn't take too long. It took longer than I thought it would, mostly because I couldn't really figure out how I wanted to set it up. But once I got it in my mind the way I wanted it, it kind of went smoothly from there. But you can see in the back here, you can see there's holes, right? So the holes are for me to put my smaller garden tools in, and then in the back we've got a reverse version of this where you can see some of the bigger tools are in the back. So again, we'll be making some of these for the community, right? So again, this may be one that we may give away, so stay tuned for that. But if you're just coming in, I appreciate you for being here. I'm just here to answer any questions you may have had for me over the last couple of days. Please hit that like button. I was just basically saying there's a lot of things that I'm behind on as far as planting. But today you can see this is something that I built. This is an outdoor garden workbench. So I like to really be outdoors. Yes, the greenhouse is nice, like I said earlier in the video, but it's nothing like being in that most peaceful environment of your garden. And so this is it, the west side of our house. And so you can see I've got this nice outdoor workstation where I'm going to be doing a lot of work, especially on nice days like this. There's nothing like being out here in the fresh air and then just enjoying the most peaceful space that you have in your yard. And so that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Now, you can see here that I've got some red Russian kale, and I gotta get that into their own spaces. I also have some lettuce, okay, that I need to get that over into some bigger spaces. So I got a lot of work to do. Along with that, I'm gonna show you what I'm behind on. So I am behind on these seeds here. So this is one of my favorite collards. This is Morris Heading. So this is the one that tastes, it's got like a cabbage taste. Carrots. I haven't planted any carrots yet this year. Actually, I've seen some pop up that I planted last year. I don't know why they didn't pop up last year, but hey, sometimes it's like that. I also need to plant turnips. Now, turnips grow pretty quickly, so I mean, I'm not really too worried about that. I gotta plant some beets, and then I've gotta plant some radishes. So For my radishes, I'm about 3 weeks behind on that. But the good thing is, radishes usually, you can get you a harvest in 30 days. So we still have plenty more cool weather to come. And in fact, where I am, uh, next week, this time, we'll probably be back in the teens at night. So again, you know, if you're in the Midwest or in a similar climate as me, you can't be fooled by this warm weather. We all know that it's not over yet, right? So again, if you're just coming in, we appreciate you. Please hit that thumbs up. So basically, I was letting you guys know what I'm behind on planting. I'm behind on carrots, different collard varieties. The only collard variety that I have planted right now are vates, right? I still haven't planted my Morris headings. I still haven't planted my flash collards. I haven't planted the Georgia Southerns. There's so many different varieties. Um, I'm also behind on beets. I haven't started planting my beets yet, but beets, I can start those anytime and they'll do just fine. But the main one that I need to plant now is going to be radishes. Okay, now you can see I've got red Russian kale. I need to put in some bigger space, right? So that's what I'm going to do as I'll talk to you guys. And if you guys have any questions for me, let me know in the comments. I just wanted to hop on here and holler at you guys. I know it's been a couple of days, and I've been pretty busy. Like I said, you guys know I got a family of 6, so we always have a lot going on. Okay, so whatever questions you guys have, put them in the comments, please. Any questions that you may have. So look at our red Russian kale here. Okay, so again, like I told you guys, for me, once they get their second true leaf is when I like to go ahead and start to transport them or put them wherever they need to go. And so that's what I'm doing now is getting them transported. That way they can have some room to really start to grow. Now, I also wanted to let you guys know about the app. So the app was supposed to come out this weekend, and the problem that I'm having is there's 3 different types of ways that you can go about getting it in beta mode. The first one is this. There is a particular app that you can use, but the only thing I don't like about that app that you can use to test it is that if I put an update, it's not going to save whatever you've done. Now, the easiest to do is the Apple, but I understand that there are Android users as well, so it's a little bit more challenging to get testing for the Android users. Sorry, we got dogs barking across the way. But if you want to test it out, shoot me a comment or something, or email me. You can email me at prospergardenfoundation@gmail.com, and I'll send you whatever version you want to kind of play around with. Just let me know. So Luke Perez 6723 says, "Hi, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you? Hopefully you got to get a little bit of gardening in today. Let me know if you got to do a little bit of gardening today." So yeah, for those of you that are just coming in, you haven't really missed much. I just was letting everybody know about this outdoor space that we're creating to get our planting done like I'm doing right now. So there's nothing like having fresh air to get out here and start planting, right? So we wanted to get a nice outdoor space for that. And so I also created a short of me putting this together. And all of this is pallet wood, right? We know the cost of pallets the cost of wood is expensive. And so if you can get free wood, why not take that free wood and just build from there, right? So that's what I was able to accomplish today. And this thing is about probably 6 feet wide. I'm sorry, 6 feet long, maybe about three, 2.5 to 3 feet wide. And so again, like I said, there's nothing like being able to just be outdoors, planting fresh air on a nice day. And so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to build this. Okay. So, and I also talked about the things I'm behind on planting, right? Radishes is one of them. Although I'm not I'm not the biggest radish eater per se. Sometimes they're cool to have, but radishes don't like hot weather. So for me, I needed to do this 3 weeks ago, but I've been so wrapped up in getting these projects like this and the hoop house up, which the hoop house is a whole nother ball game and a lot more work than I thought initially. So I've got to put probably about, I don't know, about a yard of gravel in there to keep the water drain at the floor level. So that's going to be coming a little bit slower than I anticipated as well. But there's a lot going on that has to be taken care of in the garden. And so, it's always something to do, right? It's always something to do. It's always something to plan. It's always a new project. And, it's a way that keeps us busy. It keeps us busy. It keeps us in shape. It keeps us healthy overall. Just from the simple movement, right? And really, my goal is to really stay away from the pesticides, right? When you get your food from the grocery store, who knows where it came from? Who knows what they did to it? And so we've got to learn to take control of our own produce. And if you put something in it, you know what it is, right? So the result of that would be no surprise to you because you're in control. And so that's what we have to be. We have to be in control of our own health, and growing our own food is one of the best ways that we do that. So if you guys got any questions for me, let me know in the comments. Don't be shy. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what you've been planting over the last couple of days, couple of weeks. How's it going? I'm gonna be honest. A lot of things that I planted are not doing good. The reason why is this: we've had extremely big temperature changes, and so a lot of the things we have growing in the greenhouse, and even on a day like today where it was like 60 degrees today, the greenhouse was 100 degrees in there, right? And that's with me having a door cracked. So a lot of the things that I've started to grow aren't looking good. Like some of the collards, the vase aren't looking good. Some of our broccoli seedlings have died out because they dried out, and I've been checking on them pretty frequently. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is, and it's so weird because 1 minute it's 30 outside, like this morning it was 30 something, and then the next thing you know it's 60, and then in the greenhouse is 90 degrees just like that. So yeah, so it's just a part of the process. Everything is not going to go the way we want it, and that's one of the reasons why you have to have backup plants too. A lot of people don't talk about backup plants. You got to have your backups. You got to have a rotation ready to go in case something happens. Now, for us, Saturday, I remember I ran outside to get ready for the marathon that we're running to raise funds. It was like 70 something degrees, and that day the temperature in the greenhouse was 90 when I looked, and this time next week, like I said earlier in the video, we're gonna be back to like 27 as a high during the day, and then 14, 17 as a low. So you know the cold isn't over. Yes, it feels nice right now, but you have to have your plans in place. You can't start some of your plants outside or your produce outside, and when they're little like this, well, the kale would be fine. So I could leave this kale outside when it's 20 degrees, it's gonna be fine. But everything won't be able to take that. Maybe my broccoli wouldn't be able to take that, although it probably could take 20 degrees, even at this size. But you got to kind of pay attention to what you're growing. I've had some tomato variety where I've had them in the ground this time of year, and cold fronts, hard frost came, and they didn't die off. So a lot of these things that we grow, it just kind of depends on the varieties you have as well. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I appreciate everybody for being here. Um, but yeah, if you haven't checked out the video of me putting this together, again, you can check that out. It's in the shorts. And for those of you that are just coming in, we've talked about some of the things that I'm behind on growing. Carrots is one, different collard varieties, radishes, beets. I'm behind on all of those, right? Now, what's important that I get planted today or tomorrow, see how I pushed it to tomorrow already, is the radishes. I gotta get those radishes in the ground, and I'm actually gonna put them in the raised bed on that side of the green, on that side where the greenhouse is, that raised bed. So that's where I'm gonna put the radish seeds. Now, the thing about the radishes is they only take 30 days, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not too pressed really about getting them in the ground. But I understand how this weather is. If I don't get them in, and let's say it's the end of March, we could easily see a temperature of 75, 80 degrees, and next thing you know, those radishes can be going to seed depending on what variety you have. So that's why it's important to get your radishes in the ground in a timely manner, because you'll be surprised. Some varieties will go to seed at 75, 80 degrees. So got to get those radishes in the ground. Now, for some of you that are in Florida and southern Georgia and South Carolina, radish season may or may not be over for you, depending on what variety you're growing, right? So understand what you're growing and what kind of weather it can take. Now, also, one thing I have to be careful about as well is where I plant these, right? So these are lettuce seedlings. I have to be careful where I plant them. And this lettuce here, I'll probably plant on the northeast side of the house. It's gonna get a little bit of sunlight, but I'll probably actually put those in buckets too. That way I can move them to the north side of the house, because I have a southward facing backyard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get those in buckets, or maybe make some planters out of these pallets, and and make them to a size where I can easily move them to where I need to move them, because our weather swings are pretty drastic. So within a 2 weeks, 3 week span, I felt negative 15 degrees and about 80 degrees within that short of a time period. So we've been having some crazy temperature swings, and that can impact your crops, man. Even if you have a raised bed and you've covered it with a tunnel or with some plastic or something, it's very dangerous, man. It's very dangerous. You gotta pay attention. You got to understand what you're growing and what it can tolerate. So if it's one thing you take from me today is to understand what you're growing, understand the temperatures that it can withstand, right? So tomatoes, for example, is one where, at least where I am, right? If the tomato plant is mature, let's say it's 8, 9, 10 feet, I've seen them I've seen them, take temperatures as low as 20 to 25 degrees and, shake it off. Now, when you start having multiple days in a row of that, then you got a problem, right? So you got to kind of pay attention to that and be wary of that. So let me see if you guys got any questions. No questions. If you guys got any questions, let me know. Another one that surprisingly can take a light frost, not as hard as a tomato, is okra. Um, I remember maybe about 7 years ago, I had some okra I left outside. It was in a bucket, and I didn't even mulch it, and it lasted until December, which that particular year, who knows where I am? It could snow in October, so that thing lasted outdoors until December. So some of these crops can surprise you. So if you've ever had any that surprise you, let me know what it is in the comments, and I'll let you know if I've had a similar experience. Okay. So let me know in the comments, guys. So I got a few more minutes before I gotta head out. My wife's got dinner going. She actually just sent me a text message. So let me know if you guys got any questions. I know it's been a couple days since I went live, and yeah, I wanted to touch base with you guys. I didn't want to take another day of not touching base with you. All right, so again, if you guys are having bad experiences so far this year, let me know what's going on in your garden. Um, the unfortunate thing is it's not gonna go perfect with everything. It's gonna be some issues with something. Everybody's gonna have some issues when it comes to their garden, right? And so we just gotta be prepared to pivot, right? When things go wrong, we gotta be prepared. We gotta have backup plans. We gotta have backup locations. Sometimes you may grow some things in a location that may not work out the way you want it to. You might be thinking, well, it looks good right here, but it may not do well there. You gotta be ready to pivot. Okay. Hello, hey, how you doing? G Mama Grows. So yeah, we're talking about a couple of different things. Being ready to pivot when things go wrong in your garden. We've also talked about how we're starting to create an outdoor space to do what we're doing now. Get our seedlings together. So this is a garden workbench that we created. We actually created a YouTube short video showing how we put this together. Also talked about some of the things that I'm behind on growing, radishes being one of them. Should have been had those planted 3 weeks ago. Again, I'm not a big radish person, but sometimes it's cool to have some in your salad. I'm also behind on starting the beets, behind on carrots, behind on different collard varieties. Right now, the only collard variety I have right now is Vates. I still need to get my top bunch collards planted. I got to get my Morris Headings, my Flash collards, my Georgia Southerns. I mean, there's so many different varieties that I need to get growing. Rich, So Life, how are you? How's everybody doing? So yeah, we're behind on some things, and like I said, I've been so focused on some of these projects like this thing here, trying to just get the space. And like I said, there's nothing like being able to start these seeds and transfer them to bigger growth spaces in a nice, fresh, peaceful environment. This is the most peaceful side of our yard right here. And so this is why I built this, to put it right here. Okay. So yeah, just getting you guys caught up. Vates are the only collards that haven't germinated for me yet. Oh yeah. Yeah. I was saying earlier in the video, my vates, I mean, they're not doing very well. I mean, they germinated, but they're not doing well, and it could be because of the temperature swings. 1 minute is negative 15, the next minute is almost 80 degrees, and so I think it's the temperature swings that we've had. Also, it sometimes it could be the soil that you started your seedlings in. Sometimes it could be too moist. Sometimes it can dry out. It can be a variety of different reasons. So it's just, and that's why I was saying not too long ago too. We got to be ready to pivot. When things are going wrong, or they're not moving or doing what we expect them to do, we got to be ready to pivot. So you may have to change where you have it planted. Maybe put it by a window. Maybe put it somewhere dry if it's moist. But I think, are you doing the hydroponic? Is that what you're doing? Now, if you're doing that, I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. I know grow lights are important with that, but I know people grow them outdoors too with the hydroponic. I'm just not an expert at that at all. But yeah, I think I saw your video with some different things going on, and different trees and stuff growing in your in your grow room. Yep. So if you're just coming in, we appreciate you for being here. We are getting some red Russian kale transported to some bigger grow spaces. We have some lettuce back here that I need to get in some pots, because again, I want to be able to move the lettuce, because we have some drastic temperature swings, and at any given moment they can start going to seed. So I need to be able to take my lettuce and place it where most of the shade is, which is in the front of our house. So G Mama grows, yes, hydroponics. So I may have some bad seeds because water germinates everything that I've tried. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, out of everything that I have, I do know that that's what's doing the worst for me. Um, Red Russian kales is doing good. I did have a couple of broccolis that didn't make it, but I think that's because of the major temperature swings. They're in the greenhouse. So 1 minute you'll look in there, it's 32 or even below that sometime. I'll try to cover them with plastic, then I'll look like I did earlier, and it was almost 100 degrees in there. So I think that's why a lot of things aren't making it either. But the vates I've had in different areas. I've had them in the tunnel that we've got. I had them in there. I've had them indoors. Everywhere I've had them, they just haven't been doing that good. So sometimes it can be the year too. Sometimes it happens weird like that, where certain things just don't do well anywhere. You know, it may be one of those years. I don't know, but we'll see. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. I gotta get going in a bit. Yes, this tricky weather will stress and play. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't. I mean, like, Should I go dormant? Should I be ready to grow? I mean, what should I do? You know, that's pretty much what the seedlings are saying. So, and I think you probably have similar weather to me. So, yeah, just know you're not the only one having issues with those vates, and that honestly is what made me start thinking about the other varieties that I hadn't started to grow yet, and that's making me get on that, get some top bunch collars planted, get me some Georgia Southern, some Morris headings, and let me show you that these are the ones. Let me show you. So yeah, these are the ones here that taste the best to me. It's kind of got like that. It's kind of got like a cabbage taste to it. So yeah, Chase M Bull hydroponic fertilizer does include microbes. Do you think hydro? Oh, I missed that. Chase M Bull. Do you think hydroponic grow has the same nutritional content as soil growth with the artificial fertilizer involved and no soil microbes? Uh, I think so. I think we're at a space now where, yes, we know it is artificial fertilizer, but you know, when you start talking scientifics in the labs, they can mimic the same, you know, microbes as you have if you plant them in the ground or in a raised bed or whatever. But from my experience, and this is just my experience, I've tasted some hydroponic produce before, and here's what I have to say. It can be a headache to put your food directly into the ground, and you start talking about having a weed all of the time during the peak of the growth season. That can be a headache. It can be strenuous for a lot of people. And then you start thinking about raised beds. They can, you know, have weeds that grow in them as well, because again, you don't know where the bags you may or may not know where the bags of soil you're getting them from, or if you go get them from a landscape company by, you know, the I don't know what you can measure them by a cube or whatever they call it. In my opinion, none of the produce tastes better than when it's grown in the ground. So for me, the food that grows directly in the ground, again, is gonna taste better. I've had hydroponic food before, and it still tastes good. But for me, nothing tastes better than what grows directly in the ground. But that's just my opinion. Okay. Uh, has there been any nutritional tests done in hydroponic grown versus soil grown? I think yeah, G Mama Grows can probably answer that better than me. Um, she says hydroponic gardening is how I eat during the winter and keeps my mind active. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the thing for me is, and I tried hydroponics back in 2019, or yeah, 2019 to 2020. I had very good success with lettuce. Obviously, that's gonna be an easy one to grow, hydroponic wise. Also, I did okay with cabbages, but the collards, I just couldn't get right. I don't know what it was, but I cannot get the collards to do right, and I'm more than sure that it needed more nutrients. I tried doing the you know how you can put the compost and make like a tea out of it. So I said, okay, let me do that. See if I can get some nutrients going in that. Had that in there. Had the grow light going on it. Couldn't get them to move. But maybe had I put them outside, maybe they would have done better. I don't know. But I've had some really good success growing collards even in the garage with grow lights in potting soil, but hydroponic wise, I haven't got it right with the collards at least. So let me know what you guys experience has been. Maybe mostly greens. Plenty of videos on folks comparing soil to hydroponics with nutrition and microbes. Chase, I am bull. Okay. All right, hey John, see how you doing? Yeah, we just been talking about hydroponics. Again, I'm no expert with that at all. I was basically gave my opinion on it and some of the things I've tried to grow, and I think that is it has its pros going hydroponic. It has its pros doing the raised beds. And for me, like I said, the best tasting produce is gonna be, well, for me, it's gonna be growing it directly in the ground. But that comes with having to do all the weeding too, right? So that's one of the downfalls of growing it in the ground. But if you want that great quality taste, growing it in the ground, you can't go wrong doing it that way either. But the peak of the season, it can be rough. It can be rough doing all that weeding. So, but for me, I honestly I look forward to the weeding because I know I'm gonna get a workout in, and I don't really care too much about having to weed. Now, when it's 100 degrees outside, and it's a day where it's simply just stepping outside and just looking around, just standing there, and you start sweating, it's gonna be a rough time weeding. So those are some of the things that's a con to it, but you know, everything's gonna have its pro and its con. G Mama says soil can be used in hydroponics called semi-hydroponics with the filter fertilizer on the bottom and living soil on top. Okay. So is it kind of like so it's not like making a tea then? Cause I know that I had a 5 gallon bucket, and I had my compost. I put it in a net and then just kind of let it, dip in and out. And everything did fine using that method with the nutrients except the collars. So I don't know. If you guys know how to do the hydroponics with the collars, let me know in the comments, because I I've struggled with that one. So, but again, with everything that's going on in the world, I think it's gonna be important to at least know how to do something hydroponic wise, because with everything that's going on geopolitically, you just never know what you need to be ready for, and you never know if you're gonna have to sit in the house for a while, or if something starts going down, between these countries and whatever it is they got going on. And for me, I basically practically live on a military base. So, we're, getting ourselves together and mentally preparing too in case something goes down here. So, again, hydroponics could be, I'm not going to say a thing in the future. It's happening right now. It's something that everybody at least needs to know something about, right? You need to at least know how to grow something simple, in case things don't go in our favor for whatever reason. So you just got to be prepared, guys. And I'm not a prep like a preppy person either, really, but you gotta at least know something. All right, G Mama Grove says clay pebbles. Uh, right, the soil is suspended over the fertilizer. Oh, whoa. Maybe clay pebbles. Clay pebbles are another form of soil substrate. So yes, they're beneficial. No, I'm not in the military, but we live basically um, practically like 2 or 3 miles away from the base, and everything we do basically practically is like on the base. So, but I'm not in the military though. I'm not in the military. I thought about going, but my dad influenced me not to go. He said that he went for all of his kids, and he didn't want us to go, and he gave us all the stories. So he convinced us not to go. So I ended up going to college, but it's something that I always thought about. You know, I always thought about trying it, but yeah, I just never did it. So Chase, I hear you saying with my parents. Yeah, yeah. I mean, my sister wanted to go. My brother wanted to go. I always wanted to go, but yeah, he must have had some terrible experiences. So, well, I know he did. I know they had him doing some things that he regretted that he had to do, and I'll definitely say that yeah, there's definitely some trauma there, even to this day. Although that was back in the day when he was in there, you know, it can leave you with a lot of trauma when you're forced to do things that you don't really want to do, right? To people, innocent people. All right, guys. So I got to get out of here. My wife's got dinner on the table. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be on sometime again this upcoming week. I appreciate you guys. But I gotta get out of here. All right, peace.